Greetings and welcome to our second video lesson of the week. So, three things we're going to go over today, tonight. One, we're going to talk about due dates since I took a poll of you who showed up to our class time office hour. Two, I'm going to talk about works cited pages and in-text citations. And three, I'm going to talk about the critical essay and how to get started on it and what you're going to be looking at through the library with that. So, number one, I asked students who came to our class time office hour if Friday or Sunday was better for turning in papers, and everyone said Sunday. So I'm moving the due dates for each week to Sunday. So that means that everything I assign during the week will be due on Sunday. So I moved the final draft of the narrative to Sunday, Sunday night. That means that papers, journals, and quizzes will be due, and extra credit will be due on Sunday night by midnight, before midnight. All right, that's that. All right, so now let's talk about some works cited pages and text citations. So I'm going to share my Word document with you. Since you will turn in your papers on Microsoft Word, you may as well practice using Microsoft Word. All right, so let's pretend that this is well, no, that's not. We're not going to pretend this is a works cited page. All right, so in MLA, the two things that you need for an in-text citation, for proper in-text citation in MLA is you need the author's last name or the name of the source, and you need the location in the text. So usually an in-text citation would look like this. Let's say that we have the meat of the sandwich, of a quotation sandwich. And it says, he said, ice cream is great for cats. And then at the end, you have your in-text citation. So because we did not include the name of the author or the location within the sentence, that means we have to put it in a parenthetical citation. So let's just say that this author's name is Smith. And let's say in this book, we found this quote on page 54. And that would be the in-text citation for it. Smith 54. If there is no page number, if it's a website or a web page and there's no page number for it, then you don't put a page number. It'll just say Smith. So let's say if there is a page number, let's say instead of saying he said, we said Smith said. Or let's say Smith says, try to keep it in present tense. Ice cream is great for cats. Now, because we have the name of the source within the sentence here, where we're borrowing information, now all we need is the location of the borrowed information within that source. So at the end, in parentheses, we'll just put 54. That's the page number, the location. Now, if you really don't want to use parenthetical citations, then in sentences where you borrow information, then you must include source name and the location in the text. So we can say on page 54, Smith says ice cream is great for cats. And because there's no parenthetical citation, that period will go inside the quotation mark. And we don't need a parenthetical citation here because within the sentence where we're borrowing information, we have the name of the source and the location in that text, in that source. So that's all good. Now, if there is no page number, then you just don't use a page number. Yep. So if it's a website or web page and there's no page number, don't worry about the location in the text unless that website or web page numbers their lines or numbers their paragraphs, then you should put the paragraph number in there. All right, so the way that your in-text citation correlates with your works cited page. So here I'm going to put a works cited entry. I'm just going to make it up. So let's say it's Smith. In the beginning of MLA works cited entries, they're usually always the same. So it's usually last name, first name, period, the short work title, short work title goes in quote marks, the long work title goes in italics, the Journal of Feline Treats, and I hate mosquitoes. And after that, so it goes last name, first name, period, short work title, period, long work title, period. And then after that point, depending on the source that you have, the kind of source that you have, it can be several different combinations of things after that. But in every MLA works cited page, works cited entry, it generally begins like this. Now, just so you know, if there is no person, if there's no author, then you just skip the author part and you go right to the next element, which is the short work title. And then you go to the long work title. When I say short work and long work, a short work is a title, or it's a work that fits into it, that usually fits into a larger work. So short works are things like articles, poems, songs, essays, um, like journal or diary entries. And long works are things that usually hold shorter works like newspapers, magazines, journals, diaries, albums for songs, um, web sites because they hold web pages. Like CNN.com would be a long work, but the articles that are in CNN.com would be the short work. Yeah. All right, so since we do have an author here, we don't need that first one. We have Smith, Aaron, Ice Cream, and Cats, the Journal of Feline Treats. So the way that your in-text citation correlates with your works cited entry is that once we see Smith here in this in-text citation, this parenthetical citation, we just go down to the works cited page and we look for Smith, because Smith should be the very first element in that works cited entry. And if you do a long research paper and you have like several entries on your works cited page, they're in alphabetical order. Yeah, works cited page would be in alphabetical order. So we just, scroll on down, look for the S's and find Smith. And then we'll see the exact source for where you got your information. So that's how it correlates. So the very first thing in your works cited entry, the very first word is the word that you'll use in your parenthetical citation. So keep that in mind. That's how you cite, that's how you tag, that's how you connect your source with your citations. That was number 2. Number 3. Number 3 is about where you're going to find information for your critical essay. And this is just something to keep in mind for now, until, you'll probably think about it more after you finish turning in your narrative essay final draft. Let me share my screen with you again. So in Blackboard, on the right side, when you first log in, you'll see the Gwinnett Tech Library and Galileo link. And you go ahead and click on that. And this will bring you to the library website. If you, okay, if you scroll down the library website, on the right side, you'll see these green blocks here. And in the green blocks, you'll see Gale in context, opposing viewpoints. This is our gold mine right here. So we're gonna click on that. And since our last 2 papers are to be on controversial topics, since they are to be on controversial topics, the opposing viewpoints section is a good section to use, because it consists of topics and articles that have good opposition to each other. Usually you don't have to enter your password. This is the first time it's asking me to do it. Oh. So yeah, usually you don't have to enter your password if you log in, if you click the link through Blackboard. But it's being weird right now. Maybe because, I don't know, it's late. If it continues to give trouble, then we'll work around it. But go into opposing viewpoints, and you'll see different sections for um, whatever kind of topic that you think you might like to use. And I would like you to come up with 2 topics to use, and see if you can find those topics in opposing viewpoints. If you can't find them in there, then if you can't find your first choice in there, then go with your second choice. Now, for these 2 essays, for the second essay and the third essay, the critical essay and the rhetorical essay, there are a couple of topics that you're not allowed to do. One of these topics is abortion. I'm not going to do any abortion or any pro-life or pro-choice papers. I read all of them. I don't want to read any more. And this is how it goes for the rest of these topics too. I don't want to be bored reading your papers. And with most of these papers that are banned, you can get to a certain point of argument, and then there's a gray area there where you just can't prove anything. And so there's just an argument within an unknown gray area, and it doesn't make for a good paper. So no abortion papers, no marijuana papers. I read all of those, and I don't want to read anymore. I don't want to read any more marijuana papers. What I will say though is, when I first started teaching, I was an advocate for keeping marijuana illegal, like federally. Um, but I read enough papers, and which moved me to do more research, and my mind was changed by student papers. But yeah, I read all of those papers. I don't think there's a topic that I haven't read about the legalization of marijuana. So no marijuana papers. So no abortion, no marijuana, and no papers on gun laws. I'm tired of the gun law papers. If I read another gun law paper, I'm just gonna fall asleep. So don't do that. And a couple other ones that I urge you not to do. No Mac versus PC, no Android versus iOS, and no PlayStation versus Xbox. I read all those papers. And I read all those papers because I used to teach at a tech school, so everybody was geeked about those topics. So none of those. But anything else, go for it. Um, yeah. So see if you can find your topic in opposing viewpoints, and hold on to it, because I'll ask you what your topic is, and you'll have to post it online so it'll be visible. Your topic will be visible to everybody, because we're gonna do peer reviews with these last 2 essays. All right, and that's it. Yep. All right, so turn in everything by Sunday at midnight, and I'll have more video lessons for you at the beginning of the week. Till then, stay safe.